Man, I haven't felt this free in a long time. You know, first time I felt that, I was just riding down some long country road. The sun might have been just coming up. Fields stretched out over the horizon beside me. And I didn't have the radio on. Nobody was asking me to do anything. Didn't have anywhere to be. It was just me, the motorcycle, the road, and the world around me. And that's just something I didn't fully understand until I experienced it for myself. Because when you're talking about getting your first motorcycle, I was thinking, yeah, what kind of bike should I buy? What's my budget? How am I going to learn? Where am I going to learn at? What gear do I need to get? And then I get to a day where I had the breakthrough and I realized the motorcycle really wasn't even the point. The motorcycle just allowed me to achieve the motorcycle. Sorry, looking at the lake here, gonna drive right into it. But anyway, the motorcycle was the thing that let me gain that experience. Because the first motorcycle ride, it gave me something I wasn't even looking for. And that, my friends, is the freedom that everybody talks about. So, you know, I remember when I first was learning how to ride, don't stall, don't drop it, for God's sakes. Apply the brakes evenly. Am I going too fast? Going too slow? Concentrating so hard on what I was doing, I didn't have time to even look around and enjoy the ride. And that's part of learning, and I totally get that. I didn't really at the moment. But then once you start gaining your comfort level, understanding the mechanics of it all, and it becomes almost second nature to you, that's when you start to actually notice things around you. By golly, the world opens up. You realize you're not sitting in a car anymore. You're outside. You can smell, for me in Iowa here, you can smell the fields, the good and the bad that go with it. You can feel the temperatures change in and out of shade, and the sun going behind the clouds. Notice the wind. And you see things that you probably wouldn't have, or at least I wouldn't have, if I was just driving in my car, because in my car I'm going from point A to point B. How fast can I get there? I'm not going to stop in some little town that I've never been in. I'm not going to take a road that I haven't taken before. I went the quickest route, get to my destination. I wouldn't have noticed a field off in the distance, or a lake even in the distance. or a farmer out on his tractor in the field. I definitely would have missed the sunset if I just stayed at home. So suddenly, the ride becomes the bigger reason why I wanted a motorcycle. And it's not necessarily trying to get somewhere. You're just out enjoying somewhere. And that's wherever you're at the moment. And that's a completely different feeling. It's the freedom of the open road. There's something about having a motorcycle underneath you in the open road. You can make a decision in a moment and say, hey, I've never been down that road. Either turn around or turn on it, see where it takes me. See a sign for a little town, I think, I've never been in that little town. Let's ride through it. So I got to thinking that, I really didn't need a destination. Sometimes the destination is simply wherever this road takes me. And I think it's not that you can do whatever you want. It's that for a little while you're on it, you get to decide where you want to go. And there's something else I didn't realize as much about the noise we carry around with us. Work, bills, responsibilities, phones, emails, appointments. Everybody's got something. Life can get noisy. Then you get on the motorcycle, you start it, pull out onto the road. And for the next couple hours, the noise doesn't matter. It's gone. You're not worried about tomorrow. You're right here in this moment right now. Maybe that's one of the greatest gifts riding can give you. Riding a bike can give you. It forces you to be present in the moment. You have to pay attention to the road, look ahead. You have to feel what's happening all around you. And somewhere along the way, you stop thinking about everything else. And that's when the outdoors becomes the experience more than the bike itself. And if you live somewhere like I do, I'm in Iowa, we call it the Heartland. You don't have to travel across the country to find something beautiful. Don't get me wrong, I love the trips out to the mountains and out to the beaches. I love all that too. But most of the time, it's right outside my door. Like I said before, it's the country roads. For me, in Iowa, growing up in an ag community, it's the rolling fields, small towns, the rivers, lakes, sunsets, windmills, and yes, old barns. And a road I may have driven down 100 times, but never really got to experience. That's one of the things I love most about riding. gets me outside. It reminds me that there's a whole nother world waiting beyond my driveway. And I get to experience it every time I jump on my bike. So yeah, when you have the breakthrough, you're no longer worried about the mechanics of riding. You start to experience the outdoors, you look around, and at the next gas station you can finally take part in the conversation. You see that old farmer out there in that tractor? See what he was doing? Yep, I did notice that. When the whole time I was still learning, I was worried about shifting and braking and being smooth, and I didn't have my head up too much other than who I was following the leader, I guess. But after that breakthrough and you start to realize what everything is about all around you and the ride itself, and you're like, yep, I enjoy this motorcycle. But even more than the motorcycle, I enjoy the experience of just being outside, out and about, and just taking in the wind therapy, if I can even talk, the wind therapy that my buddy Alan talks about. Wind therapy, it's cheap, it's free. And that's the freedom, my friends, is I'm going around this lake that I drove around as a kid maybe 1,000 times growing up. But I did not take an account of the experience because I was never on a motorcycle. I was always in a car. So I didn't get to experience the whole aspect of riding and experiencing what it was like to ride around this lake, see the lake, see the houses, feel the wind in and out of the shadows, the coolness of the temperature when you get in the shade. And so then that's what the freedom is. I had the freedom to take this road. In a car, I would have stayed on the road that goes around. I wouldn't have pulled through and took the time to experience more of the scenery and enjoy being outside. That's a lot of it, just being outside. You're not sitting behind a wheel, you're not sitting behind a big old windshield. You're actually outside experiencing all the different feelings. That's what the wind therapy and that's what freedom is all about. So keep on practicing, and once you have that breakthrough, you'll realize freedom is just the start of your motorcycle journey. Once it becomes second nature to you about shifting and riding a motorcycle and being confident in it. That's not the goal. The goal is to get past that and then experience the freedom. And that's what this is. You're experiencing the freedom of the open road. And it's all because of the motorcycle you're riding. Now I say motorcycle because I live in an area that's heavy into bicycles, and if I say bike around the wrong crowd, they say, oh, you got a bike? Yeah, it's a Harley. Oh, wrong kind of bike. So, but I am going to guess, and I use the word carefully, I'm going to assume you all understand, or assume you all know what I'm talking about when I say bike. The bike got me outside. Outside gives me the experience and the freedom to go and go down and because, what am I trying to say? Trying to experience a new adventure, which can be every time you get on the bike. It's a new adventure. You went down a different road, took a different route, and even though it's somewhere that I have driven many, many times, I never experienced it the same way as I did on a motorcycle. So if you're practicing, keep practicing, and pretty soon when it becomes second nature, you're going to be able to experience the freedom. So you have a great day. Thanks for watching the Jay Glyden channel, and I'll catch you on the